Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 5 here on St. Edward with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, it is 7:30 November 2nd, and we finished up the corn harvest yesterday afternoon. Wasn't real early in the afternoon, but we had enough time to get the equipment cleaned up and put away, so that was kind of nice. So we're totally done with that. So that means it took us just under a month in game to complete harvest. So that, seems pretty realistic. And we did face a couple rain delays in there. So I'm happy with how that went. Now, I told you I kind of track how long it took to do that corn harvest. And in real life gameplay, I did some calculations and I estimated it was somewhere around 16 hours it took me to do that. That's crazy. Of course, a lot of that, or well, all of it, really was done using course play and auto drive. So I was doing other things, so it really wasn't too bad. But we could speed that process up quite a bit if we actually ran 2 grain carts, because the harvester was full before the grain cart even got to the truck to dump. So it spent a lot of time sitting there waiting where it wasn't harvesting, just because the yield was so good. And so if we had another grain cart, we could keep the harvester running full time, and that would cut quite a bit of time out of there, actually. So we may look at doing that in the future. But if we go in and let's take a look at our time-saving stock check here, and you can see that we've got nearly 3 million liters of corn off that field. And the value of that is is over 3 million, and we have like $5 million worth of crops on hand. So that's pretty impressive. Now, we still don't know what the debt on the farm is, or what Aunt May and Uncle Harold are going to be expecting for it, but it certainly can generate some pretty serious revenue. Now, speaking of Aunt May, she's going to be here later today, and she's going to start organizing things in the house. She's hired some movers. Apparently, they'll be here tomorrow, from what I understand. And so she's going to be working on getting prepared for them. Now, the movers are going to pack most of the stuff, but there's some personal items I imagine she wants to look after. So I think the family is going to help her with that. I'm sure they're excited about that after all the moving we've done recently. But of course, when she is moved out, then we can move into the house. She also has some papers she needs us to sign that'll give us what I'm calling power of attorney, but we'll be able to have access to all the bank accounts and that on the farm. So we'll know what the debt is at that time. And I think we're going to talk about what kind of money they're looking to get out of the farm, or they have to get out of it. Like I said earlier, they just basically want to replace their savings. So we certainly won't be paying full value for the farm, I don't think. So what am I going to be up to? I need to get that cornfield turned around. So that means mulching, liming, plowing, and rock picking if we leave stones on. That's a pretty big field to do rock picking on. Now, I haven't decided to leave stones on and maybe use some cheating rock picking devices. Jury's still out. We'll wait and see, and I'll let you know when I finally figure it out. But we certainly can get going on the mulching and liming and plowing. So I'm going to do that and let the family work with Aunt May. Now, I think this did work pretty good. I have no complaints about it. But from watching Real Farmers, I think I'm going to give that disc harrow a try that we looked at earlier. Where was it? It was actually under disc harrows, wasn't it? This right here, because that's really the kind of gear they would use to go over that cornfield. This can be set up as just a straight mulcher. The only drawback is it's a little narrow. It does run a little faster, but it's a little narrow. Like I said, those are big fields, but it's a more appropriate piece of gear. And it is going to have the advantage, though, because it is narrower, it shouldn't be bothered by the field undulations as much as what this was. So, I mean, that'll save some too if I don't have to go back and flatten out a bunch of pieces. So I think what I'm going to do is bring one in at no cost to us initially, give it a try, see how it works, kind of get a feel for how long it's going to take, and then make a decision from there. So when you see me next, you may find that this is no longer here and we have that other implement. Now, like I said before too, we could end up running two of those, which actually then would be faster running two of those than one of these. So anyways, just thought I'd give you a heads up on that. Now, the last thing we kind of need to discuss is, you're not going to believe it, but Farmer Murphy made a mistake. Let's look at the map and I'll explain. As you may recall, when we were liming on the soybean field, which I believe was last episode, what I had done initially is I did two headlands all the way around here, and I went twice, and I had to stop and fill up the lime spreader, but after doing that, I still had, I can't remember, somewhere between 20 or 25% something like left. I wasn't totally empty. And then we came over here, and I think we only did 2 passes, maybe 3 back and forth here along this edge, and we were out of lime. And I had said, as you may recall, after we did the headlands, I think I have enough lime here. I should be able to do this field with the lime I'd purchased. Then, after I did this little area, I corrected and said, no, we're going to be short. But then, after I left you guys, and I can turn the menus on, because it just didn't make sense. How did we get all the way around this, twice, and can only go up and down here a couple times? Well, what I did was, when I set the map up, I actually limed and fertilized these fields, because Uncle Harold would have done that. He wouldn't have left them in that state. So when I went and did this field, I did exactly like I had done. I went and did 2 headlands around. Then I went and limed this little patch, and totally forgot to do this one, because I got looking when I got the information menus turned on. I was bringing up the pH value by like 1 point in most places. And, normally it's like 0.25 or 0.125 you're bringing it up. So I ran over here and ran across our cornfield. And, sure enough, it only needed to come up by that, 0.125 or 0.250. And the same over here. I realized I had forgotten to do the center of this field. So that's why, as soon as I get done the headlands, I started chewing up so much lime over here. So how I fixed it is, after, when I was working on that part of the field, every load of lime that I took from our supply that we had purchased, I went and took 3 free loads to make up for it. So I kind of corrected my mistake that way. And it ended up we needed to buy 1 more truckload of lime to finish off that field. So just thought, I found that a little humorous. I mean, it just seems like I can't go without having to correct some mistake every episode. So that's the one for this one. So I will have to purchase a bunch of lime for the cornfield, obviously. I'll purchase a little bit more than we did last time, but that should work because I've already confirmed no issues there. So I'm going to do the liming and the mulching off camera. I will bring you in when that is done. But you know what? I'll probably bring you in tomorrow morning, come to think of it, because Aunt May will be here, the movers be here. So we'll do a quick update in the morning and we'll see where we're at. And because we should have some more financial information at that time. I don't know why I'm headed that way. I need to go and get a tractor. So flustered about the line. So anyways, I'm going to leave you guys there. We'll see you tomorrow morning, and we'll see where we're at on that cornfield. And then, like I said, after tomorrow morning, you won't see me again until we start plowing. So we'll catch up with you in a little bit. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the farm. It is the following day, November 3rd. It's right around lunchtime. You can see Aunt May's vehicle is here, and the movers are here. Now, I'm not going to move around very much. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to stay put when I'm talking because something in the screen that we're looking at is causing me a buttload of lag up here. And seeing as we've seen the Escalade before and it didn't seem to be causing it, I think it's that old Peterbilt cab over that we're looking at. There are a lot of options on it, but yeah, there's something definitely causing me some lag. But this is just a short segment, so I'll just stay planted when I'm yakking, and then any lag we get I can just cut out in editing. But let's just take a walk around this old Peterbilt because you don't see these cab overs too often anymore. That's a pretty nice old truck. With that single rear axle and being a cab over, I imagine that makes it pretty maneuverable for them when they're trying to get into tight spots when they're moving. But anyways, we're getting a late start to the day here on the farm because Aunt May is here, like I said, and we signed off some paperwork. Uncle Harold is doing as well as can be expected given the circumstances. But an interesting thing came up the other day. According to Aunt May, Uncle Harold brought up the fact that he didn't think he would be able to return to the farm. He's realizing that. And he asked her to talk to us about turning the farm over sooner rather than later. I guess he's kind of come to that realization that farming is no longer going to be in his future, unfortunately, and that they need to look at retirement. So we now have some additional information regarding the farm. And so if we take a look at the bank account that we have access to now, we can see that they took a $3 million loan out to facilitate the expansion. And in addition to that, they put 4,000 I wish, 4 million in their own cash in that they want back. So the deal is we take over the farm. With that comes this debt, and they want $4 million back. They're basically their retirement savings. So I guess one way to look at it is it costs us $7 million for the farm, but that's probably only about half its value, and the rest is just gifted to us. So I told Aunt May, because we'd already been talking about it, and that we are fine with that. We would love to take over the farm. So now it's just a matter of timing. But what we're going to do is we took a look earlier, and there's like $5 million worth of crop once we get it sold at peak times. So Aunt May is going to take $1 million out of that. So that'll leave a debt of $3 million. And she said, as far as they're concerned, they could just take $1 million every harvest. But we'll talk about some more about that in the future. We're kind of leaning towards possibly just paying them out. And if that leaves us short on cash to get crop in the ground in the spring, we can just take an additional an additional loan. So that's the story there. Now, the farm account is down to 186,500, and that is because I purchased 2 truckloads of lime that I threw in our silo there, and by truckloads I mean our big semi-trailer truck. So we have over 120,000 liters of lime that should get us pretty near through that cornfield, I'm thinking. Now, speaking of the cornfield, let's take a look at the map here. I worked last night until 8 p.m., so not terribly late. So basically from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. And that's all I have left to mulch is this little patch here. And I might have actually been able to get it all done, but I actually turned course play on to do this, And then my granddaughter wanted some attention, so I went and dealt with her for a little bit, and I just let it run. And when I came back, I found out I had set the wrong pattern in courseplay. I know it's extremely hard to believe that I would make a mistake. And basically, I think it was spiral it was set to. And so what the worker was doing is he'd do run along one end, and then he deadhead it all the way down to this end, and then come across and then deadhead it all the way up here. Because I came back in to check on and see how things were going, and I saw the tractor just running along the edge of the field. I was, what the heck is going on? So once I got that fixed, courseplay comes up with an estimated completion time. That knocked out over an hour out of the completion time just by changing this and getting that corrected. So I don't know. We definitely lost some time due to that little mistake. So I'm going to get that finished up here today and get on to the liming, and I will bring you back in tomorrow. We should be able to do the plowing, and we'll finish off the episode showing some of that. Oh, yeah, one last thing I forgot to mention. I did all of that, by the way, was with that Landau mulcher. So I did get rid of that other roller. We're going to keep that. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't mind it taking a day to get that field mulch, because in real life it would take some time. And the additional bonus is that I didn't have to go back and clean up any areas other than just the corners from courseplay, the standard thing. But it had no issues with the ground being unlevel, unlike we were seeing with the other larger rollers. So yeah, they were initially quicker, but then I had to go back and flatten a bunch of stuff out. So this, I didn't have to do that at all. So that was an additional plus. All right, so I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to get the mulching and liming done. I should have enough time to get that done today. And then we'll see you tomorrow, and we will get to plowing. So we'll catch up with you in a little bit. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the farm. It is the next day, November 4th, for those of you keeping score, just after 8 o'clock in the morning. As you can see, Aunt May and the movers have gone back to Omaha to get her and Uncle Harold set up in their new place. So we have the place all to ourselves. Now the family is taking a day of rest. I did complete the mulching and the liming. So we're on to the plowing next. And now that those vehicles are gone from up here, I'm not having any lag issue in this area. So that's all good. And our liming went according to plan this time. And so we still have, I can't remember the exact number, between 43 and 45,000 liters anyways of lime still left from our initial buy. So it really does make a difference when you initially lime the field if you do the whole thing. Who knew? Anyways, I've got the big guy set up here on the plow, so we can get out and get that field plowed. Should be able to get that done today, I would think. Pretty good sized plow that Uncle Harold had here. Now our money has gone down just a little bit because when I finished with mulching and liming, I did a few vehicle repairs, so that's taken our account down now to 185,700 from 186 and change. Now you can see our old International is still sitting over there beside the shed, and I've decided we're going to sell that, and we're going to put the money from that sale and the money we brought back from Stone Valley with us into the farm account, because we have decided to take over the farm from Uncle Harold and Aunt May. Not that there was any much doubt about that. So we might as well take and throw those funds into the farm account. Now I've got a few things to tell you about, but we might as well get plowing and we'll cover those off. Now, as you may recall, Aunt May wanted to take $1 million out of this harvest income, and then they were looking to get the other $3 million they had invested in the farm out, and they said they would be willing to take that over time. I think what we'll do, or I'm considering right now anyways, is going ahead and using all of that income and to pay them out. It likely means we will need to borrow money in the spring, though, to get our crops back in the field, because not only did the map maker, triple the value of the crops on the back end, all of the inputs are triple the value on the front end. So it's going to cost a fair bit of money, I'm thinking, to get these crops back in the field. I know I saw one buy point, I can't remember which one it was, where seeds was $11,000 per 1,000 liters. So that's a little steep. That was just in the kind of one of the most expensive areas. But ooh, I just noticed it's looking a little dark over there. I've never checked the weather forecast, so hopefully the rain holds off for us. Yeah, anyways, I doubt we'll have enough money left over that we'll be able to buy everything. Oh, shoot. Everything we need. I've got the fold and the raise and lower right beside each other, basically almost on my farm stick. And if I don't look, I often fat finger between the two. Oh, we should. Now, another thing we need to discuss is actually, before we do that, I'm going to jump out because we should be bringing up stones here. Kind of hard to see on this texture. Oh, yeah. Yep. There they are. No surprise. Now, that is one of the things we need to talk about. But first, don't know if I mentioned it or not. I may have, I might not have. But when I started playing on PC, of course, I'm using a wheel, and same wheel I used on console. But I would be working in the field like this, and you'd see the brake lights come on, and the vehicle would, basically act like the brakes came on. And that happened right from the get-go on PC. And at the time when I first started playing, I went and Googled to see if I could find a solution for it. I even asked Giants, but it wasn't the wheel I was using. It was a fairly new model from Thrustmaster, and they hadn't tested it, so they had no advice for me. So I couldn't, long story short, couldn't find a solution. So I just kind of lived with it, and I had found some things online that suggestions that I thought might have mitigated it a little bit, and some seemed to help. I thought, but anyways, never did actually completely go away. Well, the other day I was playing, and it was bad. It was really bad. It was really acting up. So that drove me to go to Google, and I don't know if I probably just phrased it differently, or used different terms, but found out there were other guys that were having this issue. Not with my particular wheel, but with other wheels on Farming Simulator 22, and they had a solution which was a setup on the wheel, some changes, and setup in FS22. And so far, so good. But when I was doing that, one of the things they said to turn off was the stop and go. And that's where, when you were backing up, like if you hit the brakes and you held the brakes on, you instantly start to back up. That was one of the things they said to turn off. And when I was messing with all those settings, you know what? I decided to try a manual transmission, because I tried that on console when the FS22 first came out, but it was kind of a nuisance. It, became like more of a novelty, and I soon ended up going back to automatic. One of the issues was, now it could have been the mod, I don't know, but I was using a tractor at the time that had a lot of forward gears, 24 if my memory serves me correct. And every time you change direction, it would go back to first gear, when you went from reverse to forward. Now don't know if there was an update to Farming Simulator that changed that, but now it remembers what gear you were in, so that makes it a lot better. And also, I'm using a farm stick on PC, and with the custom key bindings, could set it up so it works pretty slick, actually. And it is a more realistic way to play, because you don't normally drive a tractor and start in first gear and work your way up through the gears like you would on a truck or a car if you're driving a standard transmission. For field work, you pick an appropriate gear, put it in that gear, and away you go. Most times that's how you would proceed. And of course, manual transmission doesn't affect CVT equipped tractors at all. It operates just like an automatic. Anyways, the point of all that was there was a point, is you may hear some additional clicking in the background. I know you've heard it before. I've heard it on my recordings. My wheel has a very aggressive click, let's say, when you use the shifting paddles, and so you may hear that a bit more, and that's just when I'm changing gears. If I do it when I'm not talking, if I can remember to do that, I can actually mute that click out. So I'll try and do that. So that was one thing we needed to mention. Now, the other thing is the rocks. Now, what I'm going to do, this plowing will finish off this episode, and then before next episode, I'm going to do some testing. I'm going to kind of get a feel for how long I think it'll take using our existing equipment. I may go to something that's a bit unrealistic. I don't want to go to anything that's super cheaty. Or I may just turn rocks off. I kind of like to keep them on, though, because I was thinking one way that we could get ahead is if we did productions that manufactured our own inputs. So rocks, we could make lime. If we put something in that would allow us to make seed, we could mitigate some of those upfront costs. Might be the only productions, or would likely be the only productions that do on this map. And of course, again, that's assuming that those of you watching want to see me continue on here after FS22 comes out, because we're just a little over 2 weeks away now from its release as I'm recording this. And actually, when you see this, will likely be much closer to release, because I do record a couple episodes ahead. So if you have any comments on that, if you'd like to see this carry on or not, or if you'd just like to see this series dropped, I definitely will be doing something on 25 as soon as I get it. It'll be a little bit behind others, because I did order the collector's edition, and I got a notice from Amazon just yesterday, actually, that it's all queued up for shipping. I believe they said it was the 12th it was going to ship, so it'll take a day or two for it to get here. So I'll be a tiny little bit behind. But whether we carry on with this or not, I'll leave it up to you guys. You can leave it in the comments. That would be muchly appreciated. But if you don't, your viewership will tell me, vote with the view button, so to speak. Because if everybody quits watching, well, I guess I'll have my answer. I thought, I just don't know if there's enough interest in the storyline to keep people coming back, even if it is FS22. We could transfer this story over to a 25 map, but you might need to wait for a modded map to come out. I'm really hoping my PC runs 25 okay. It is a gaming PC, it's a laptop, but the technology in it is 2 years old. And unfortunately, when I bought my laptop, I actually bought it because I had a reason to run AutoCAD. So that's what I was thinking, and you need a pretty beefy computer to do that. And this particular one was on sale. I wasn't looking for a gaming one specifically, but they had a good deal on this one because it was last year's model. So it's only a year old to me, but it's the technology is basically 2 years old, and I just wasn't thinking of playing Farming Simulator on it. It wasn't until I actually got it that I kind of thought about that, and if I wish I'd have thought about it sooner, and I would have likely put a little bit more money in and upgraded the graphics card. It's got a good graphics card. It just doesn't have a great one. It's got I don't think it's the it is the graphics card that's holding me back, not the processing power. But anyways, is what it is because can't upgrade the graphics card on a laptop. The only thing I could do is throw some more RAM at it to see if that would make a difference, but really don't think it'd make much of a difference because I got a fair bit of RAM in it anyway. So it is what it is. And I'm sure it'll be fine on standard maps. It's just 4X maps. And this is the 4X map, the first one I've run that I've had any kind of issue at all with any signs of any kind of lag. I have tried a few others and haven't really experienced anything. But we will know soon enough. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is, speaking of background noise, I actually have moved my recording location in the house. I was using one of the bedrooms upstairs, kind of like my home office, and that was working pretty well. But we needed to put that bedroom to use for another purpose, and I got moved downstairs, which, on one hand is kind of nice because I've got a little bit more room. But on the downside, it's wide open, and it's wide open to upstairs too. There's no door between our upstairs and our downstairs, so it's a little bit noisier environment. And add to that my TV is actually mounted on the wall. That directly behind it is the utility room with the furnace and the washer and dryer and stuff. It is just a noisier environment. So hopefully, I kind of messed around before I did this recording a little bit with mic settings and stuff. To try and reduce some of the ambient noise. So hopefully it's not too bad. Because if I have to wait until a house is, basically I have the house to myself, it's going to reduce the number of episodes per week for sure. I've been trying to get an episode out every 3 or 4 days, and I've been doing not too bad on that. So you may hear my granddaughter a little bit more than you used to if she gets going upstairs. What I'm really concerned about is the creak in the old floorboards, if that comes through, because didn't notice that. Of course, everything's carpeted upstairs. Didn't hear that at all. I honestly didn't spend all that much time downstairs. I'm surprised at the amount of creaking there is when everybody's moving around upstairs. Now those corners where I didn't do that good a job, I'll clean those up off camera. Speaking of the granddaughter, I don't know if you heard that, but there she was right there. Oh, might have got that. That was close. Yeah, I'm just gonna come out here. This ditch isn't too bad. Oh, it's a little worse than I thought. Didn't look too bad. The old John Deere went for a bit of a ride there. Now, what we'll do here is I'm going to put on a worker here, just a standard in-game worker, so we can kind of take a look. Oh, well, why did that slow down? Well, hadn't noticed that, but something with the automatic or manual transmission, obviously. So we'll just take a quick swing. Oh, that view is horrible. Let's go this side. In-game worker maybe doesn't like manual transmission. Definitely slowed down. Looks pretty good though, I must say. Oops, that was... Didn't mean to swing that fast. I gotta turn the sensitivity down on that thumbstick a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. That is what I intended to do, but that doesn't take too much pressure. Alright, we'll turn the worker off, which means our whole operation here will stop, but we'll get her turned back on. There, we're back up to speed. I actually never did look. I just kind of took a guess at we were in the right gear. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. We could actually probably go up one gear and it would be a little easier on fuel because I'm sure this has a more than enough horsepower to... Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, it'll just take a little getting used to playing with the manual transmission, but so far I like it. You know, my favorite thing is I do play a couple other games on my PC, driving related games, and they're set up such that you use the accelerator as you would in a normal vehicle for, you know, adjusting your speed going forwards or backwards. And on Farming Simulator it was different with the stop and go braking. Of course, you hit the brake and then just held it if you wanted to go backwards. Well, now with the manual transmission setup, you know, it operates like you would expect. The accelerator controls speed in both a forward and reverse direction, and the brake is just a brake. So I do like that. Less confusion. And anything that can reduce confusion is helpful for me. Now, that's something that's just started. Man, it always has to be something, doesn't there? That the thumbstick takes off in a vertical direction, almost like drift. Just does it rarely. Hopefully that's not something that's going to increase in frequency, because boy, that's a nuisance when it does that. I don't recall happening before. But, you know, particularly sensitive to it because I'm, you know, recording these days rather than just playing for fun. Let's see if we can get swung around here without hitting this sign. It might be a little bit too close. Oh no, she made her. By golly. There it went again. Started to take off. I don't know if you noticed that or not. I don't know if something got spilled in there. I need to take it apart and clean it, but hopefully it's not that similar situation that we had with the PlayStation 5 controllers there when they first came out, where they developed drift. The Farm Stick isn't, well, it's basically a year old. I got it at the same time as the PC, so hopefully that's not, because it's a heck of a lot more money to buy than a PlayStation 5 controller if I've got to replace it because that's acting up. Anyways, I suspect that I have yacked longer than I thought, but I think we covered off everything. Talked about the money, talked about the rock picking, the move of recording location, and the manual transmission. So yeah, I think we're good. So I suspect we are at a full episode there. So I think I will leave you there. I will finish getting this plowed. Hopefully the rain holds off. And then the next time we meet, we'll have a solution one way or another on the rock picking. If it seems like it's, when I first try our equipment and it's going okay and it's going to be done in a somewhat reasonable amount of time, that process may be underway when we next meet. So until then, I think I will say goodbye. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to know when other content like this lands, hit that little notification bell. But for this episode here on St. Edward, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.